Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are grabbing our sources, rolling up our sleeves, I guess you could say, and diving headfirst into the grappling scene in Ventura, specifically the Jiu Jitsu Academies.
Yeah, it's a really interesting landscape there. Competitive for sure, but also like deeply philosophical in places.
Right, this isn't about tournament wins today. We're analyzing the specific cultures of 9 different academies.
Exactly. And the mission here for you listening is to really pull apart what makes each one tick. Their unique identity, their core philosophy, what sets them apart.
Because when you look at them together,
You see it immediately. They all teach Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, yeah, but they're all over the map. Some are super traditional, rigid structures. Others are like way out there with niche techniques or blending styles.
and some focus heavily on lifestyle integration.
Spot on. We're basically trying to show you that BJJ isn't just BJJ. It varies a lot.
And it's fascinating because they all share that common thread, right? Skill, community, that's universal.
Mm-hmm.
But the why and the how, the atmosphere, what they prioritize in training, the ultimate goals for their students, that's where they diverge massively.
So we've tried to group them by philosophy to make sense of it all.
Let's start with the ones really anchored in tradition, lineage, structure, that sort of thing.
Okay, yeah. The foundational schools, these often trace back to specific lineages or follow, established systems pretty closely.
First up in this group, we have Paragon, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu Ventura. This one carries some weight. Founded by Ricardo Franjinha Miller, a world champion.
Right, and their mission statement is pretty clear. Developing complete martial artists.
Yeah.
People who succeed on and off the mat.
So what does that look like in practice, their culture?
Well, what seems to stand out with Paragon is how they managed to blend high-level, serious competition training with a really supportive, almost family-like vibe.
Interesting balance.
It is. They've got that rigorous structure you need for competitors, but it's woven into this community feel. It's like a high-performance engine, but with a really strong support system built around it. Intensity, but also loyalty.
Okay, so high-level competition focus there. That seems a bit different from what we see at Morumbi Jiu Jitsu Academy, led by Professor Fabio Leopoldo.
Yeah, Morumbi emphasizes traditional BJJ too, and self-defense is definitely a focus. But their core aim, it seems, is making the whole training process enjoyable.
Enjoyable. How so?
The sources really highlight things like fun, friendship, motivation, and consistency being driven by those positive aspects. The idea is that if people enjoy coming, they'll be consistent, and that's how real progress happens.
So if Paragon is about rigor wrapped in family support,
Morumbi is maybe more about discipline fueled by positive reinforcement and enjoyment of the process itself. It's a different take on keeping students engaged long term. Makes sense, right? If you love it, you stick with it.
it does. And then rounding out this traditional category, we've got Gracie Barra Ventura. Their whole thing is jiu-jitsu for everyone.
And their big differentiator. It's that adherence to global standards. Curriculum, structure, the way the community feels. It's part of a worldwide system. You know what you're getting.
Which raises a point. How does a place committed to such strict, global standardization still create a unique local feel?
Well, according to their materials, it comes down to their core values. Brotherhood, integrity, development. That's supposedly the glue. They pitch it as building confidence, leadership, resilience. It's a very structured path, a proven blueprint, basically.
Okay, so that covers the traditional side. Paragon's competitive lineage, Morumbi's focus on enjoyment and self-defense, and Gracie Barra's global structure and values.
Right. 3 distinct flavors within that traditional framework.
Now let's pivot. Let's look at the other end of the spectrum. The schools that are maybe innovating more, deviating from the standard BJJ structure.
Yeah, the technical innovators. These are places maybe blending martial arts or really drilling down into specific modern techniques or systems. They might break from traditional orthodoxy quite deliberately.
And this is where the specific technical differences really matter for you, the learner, right? Let's start with Memento Mori Grappling Club. They sound pretty multidisciplinary.
They really are. It's not just BJJ. They explicitly blend judo, wrestling, catch wrestling, and jiu-jitsu. The stated goal is to create well-rounded, stand-up capable athletes.
Stand-up capable. That's a key phrase.
It really is. Bringing in catch wrestling, for example, that naturally brings in things like leg locks and submission styles that might be secondary or even frowned upon sometimes in purely traditional BJJ schools, especially at lower belts. They're training the whole grappling picture.
And their training style seems different, too. The sources mention they reject traditional warm-ups.
Yeah, that's interesting. No long, structured calisthenics. They apparently want to maximize mat time, focusing it purely on drilling and live rolling.
Is that just practical, or is it like a philosophical statement against structure?
Seems mostly pragmatic, maybe. Efficiency is key. If your goal is that well-rounded, stand-up, capable athlete, you need focused mat time on those specific skills, not just general fitness drills.
Okay, so contrast that intense blending with the next one. 10th Planet Ventura. This is more like a niche specialist,
Exactly. Pure specialization. It's all about Eddie Bravo's 10th planet system.
which, for listeners maybe not as familiar, is famous for its no-gi focus, right? Innovative guards like the rubber guard, the truck, lots of specific techniques, often outside the traditional guy-based BJJ curriculum.
Spot on. If you know you want modern, creative, no-gi grappling, this is a highly structured path, but it's definitely not traditional BJJ structure. It's specialization, like you said, dialed up to 11,
And the vibe.
described as fun and welcoming, which is interesting given the sometimes counterculture reputation of the system itself.
Okay, and then there's Archer Jiu Jitsu. They seem to offer a really different model, especially compared to, say, Gracie Barra's standardization. They emphasize flexibility.
Yeah, Archer sounds like it's built around the student experience in a very direct way. Small, student-focused, prioritizes connection and learning over hype, or ego, as they put it.
And the flexibility points are pretty striking.
They really are. This is crucial for the learner perspective. No sign-up fee. A flexible guy policy, meaning you probably don't need their specific branded guy, and an open invitation to cross-train elsewhere.
Wow, that's quite open.
It is. It suggests an environment really built for someone who maybe doesn't want to be locked into one system or lineage. It caters to this serious competitor wanting diverse training and the casual person who just wants less commitment.
It's amazing just looking at these first six, how much variety there is in learning styles catered for. We've gone from high structure to high specialization to high flexibility.
Yeah.
Which brings us to our last group. And these are maybe the most unique in terms of their core mission. The academies where it's explicitly about character or faith or measured lifestyle change beyond just getting good at grappling.
Right. This is where the martial art becomes a much more explicit blueprint for life, going way beyond just the physical skills.
And we have to start with 777 Jiu Jitsu, or T7JJ. Their philosophy seems totally unique in this area. They combine BJJ, fitness, self-defense with biblically based principles.
That's the absolute key differentiator. It's not just BJJ plus character development on the side. It's an integration with a specific faith structure.
So how does that play out?
Well, they focus on character, discipline, integrity, sure, but they actively integrate the martial arts training with things like nutrition guidance and accountability. It's presented as a truly holistic approach aimed at spiritual, physical, and personal growth, all guided by those biblical principles. The BJJ is almost the vehicle for this broader transformation.
That level of specific integration seems quite different from, say, Evolve Jiu Jitsu Ventura. They also talk about self-improvement, right?
They do, led by Professor Johnny. Their goal is definitely focused on self-improvement beyond just physical fitness. They talk about helping students build confidence, focus, become the best version of themselves, both on and off the mats.
That phrase again, off the mats.
It comes up constantly. And we see a similar philosophical angle at Channel Islands BJJ, led by Jonas Noves. Their emphasis is on community built on respect and discipline. And specifically, members carrying the true ideals of jiu-jitsu forward into their lives outside the gym. It's about transferring those values.
But when schools like Evolve or Channel Islands talk about that off-the-mat improvement, how specific do the sources get about how that transfer happens? Is it specific programs or just the general discipline of BJJ?
It seems maybe a bit more implicit compared to 777's very structured approach. It likely relies more on the inherent discipline needed for BJJ, combined with consistent messaging from the instructors and the community culture, emphasizing respect, perseverance, those kinds of ideals. 777 offers a much more defined, integrated mechanism for that off-mat growth, including the nutrition and faith components.
Okay, right. Let's try to synthesize all this. We've covered a lot of ground. 9 academies, same area, but really offering quite different experiences.
Yeah, if you step back and look at the whole picture, it really spans the gamut. You've got the highly traditional, globally structured places like Gracie Barra. You've got The lineage-focused competitive powerhouses like
And
Paragon.
the technical
Right,
innovators.
the blended-all approach of Memento Mori or the super-specialized Nogi focus of 10th Planet.
And the flexible, student-centric model at Archer.
And finally, those explicitly focused on that deeper lifestyle integration, whether it's the comprehensive faith-based model of 777 or the character and values focus at Evolve and Channel Islands.
So, for you listening, trying to figure out where you might fit in, what's the big takeaway?
I think the main takeaway is just the sheer diversity. It means there's likely a specific culture tailor-made for almost any learning style or personal goal you might have.
So the choice isn't just about finding a good instructor in the technical sense.
Not entirely. It's maybe more about finding the community philosophy that aligns best with what you want out of it. What are your personal growth objectives? Do you thrive on structure like Gracie Barra offers?
Or do you need that flexibility Archer provides?
Exactly. Or are you looking for that pure technical rabbit hole like 10th Planet or something much broader like the faith and lifestyle integration at 777? The environment you choose will shape your experience profoundly, maybe even more than the specific techniques taught day to day.
And that connects perfectly to the final thought we wanted to leave you with. Something that ties all 9 of these places together, despite their differences.
Yeah, it's striking. Every single source, every academy description, from the hardcore competitors at Paragon to the character-focused Evolve, mentions success or growth off the mat.
Every single one.
It really suggests that underneath it all, maybe the real product they're all aiming for isn't just grappling skill, but character development, resilience, personal evolution. So if every training environment, whether it's family-oriented or hyper-focused on stand-up or explicitly biblical-based, is ultimately designed to help produce a successful person outside the academy.
Then the question for you, the listener, becomes,
Which specific definition of success does your current training environment promote? Or the one you're considering? And more importantly, is that the definition you actually want to achieve. It forces you to think about what success off the mat really means to you and which environment is best suited to help you get there.